The Wolf Among Us.
A message?
Let's talk about The Wolf Among Us. This game is a real hidden gem. You play as Bigby Wolf, the sheriff of Fabletown, a place in New York City where fairy tale characters live in the real world. The story is amazing. It's like a detective movie where you have to solve a murder. As you play, you find out all sorts of secrets about the people in Fabletown. The story has lots of twists and keeps you interested the whole time.
Have more to offer. Get our ducks in a row. Oh, Crane doesn't like people smoking and...
The characters are what make this game special. You meet fairy tale characters, but they are different from what you remember. They have real life problems and interesting personalities. Bigby, the main character, is really cool because he has a dark past but is trying to do good.
What's it say about that?
It says Bricklebit in an older elvish hand.
The game is all about making choices. What you decide changes the story and how people react to you. Sometimes the choices are really hard and there's no easy answer. This makes you want to play again to see what happens if you make different choices. The way the game looks is really cool. It's like playing a comic book with bright colors and lots of details. The places you visit are full of atmosphere, whether it's a bar or an old apartment. The voices in the game are great. The actors make the characters feel real and interesting. The sounds and music also help make the game feel like a detective story.
You two need to get a handle on this situation quickly and quietly.
The Wolf Among Us is a game that more people should know about. It has a great story, cool characters, and a unique look. If you like games where the story and your choices matter, you should definitely play this one. It's an exciting and fun experience that you won't forget.
Where is the bottle of wine you were to purchase?
A Plague Tale: Innocence. Let's talk about A Plague Tale: Innocence. This game is a hidden treasure. You play as a young girl trying to protect her little brother Hugo during a terrible time in medieval France.
Hugo, follow me, now!
The story is gripping. It's about survival, family, and courage. The siblings have to escape from soldiers and avoid deadly rats spreading the plague. Their journey is full of danger and emotion, and you really care about what happens to them.
Don't stop!
The gameplay is a mix of sneaking around, solving puzzles, and some action. You have to be smart and use your surroundings to stay hidden from enemies. The rats are a big threat, and you need to use light to keep them away. It's tense and keeps you on your toes.
We can't let them catch us!
As for the graphics, the game looks beautiful. The environments are detailed and realistic, showing the dark and scary world of Misha and Hugo live in. The visuals are top-notch, making everything feel very real. Plague Tale: Innocence is a game that deserves more attention. It has a powerful story, engaging gameplay, and stunning visuals. If you enjoy games with deep stories and emotional journeys, you should definitely check it out. It's an unforgettable experience that will stay with you long after you finish playing.
3.
Hi-Fi Rush. Alright, let's talk about Hi-Fi Rush. This game is a hidden gem that's all about rhythm and fun. You play as Chai, a rock star in a colorful, music-filled world. The story is lighthearted and entertaining. Chai finds himself in a strange place where everything moves to the beat of the music. He decides to become a hero and takes on a big corporation that's up to no good. It's quirky and full of charm.
That's the defect? Looks suspicious.
Could be.
Gameplay is where Hi-Fi Rush really shines. It's a rhythm-based action game where you fight enemies to the beat of the music. The better you time your moves, the more powerful your attacks. It's like playing a mix of a rhythm game and a fighting game, and it's super satisfying. The graphics are bright and colorful. The whole game looks like a vibrant animated music video. The characters are fun and full of personality, and the world is just a joy to look at. The music is a huge part of the game. The soundtrack is packed with catchy tunes that make you want to move. Each level has its own music, and it's all perfectly synced to the action. You'll find yourself bobbing your head and tapping your foot as you play.
I can see that.
Hi-Fi Rush is one of those games that just makes you happy. It's fun, energetic, and full of life. If you love music and action games, this one is a must-play. It's a unique and joyful experience that's sure to put a smile on your face. Yakuza Series. Alright, let's talk about the Yakuza series, a collection of games that's perfect for anyone who loves deep stories, intense action, and a whole lot of side activities to keep you busy for well over 100 hours. The Yakuza series takes you into the heart of Japan's criminal underworld. You primarily play as Kazuma Kiryu, a tough-as-nails Yakuza with a heart of gold. The main storyline is full of drama, betrayal, and some truly memorable characters. Each game weaves an intricate tale that's both emotional and thrilling, pulling you deep into the lives of the characters. One of the biggest draws of the Yakuza series is its combat system. The fighting is fast-paced and brutal, with a variety of styles and moves to master. You can pick up and use anything as a weapon, from bicycles to signboards, which makes for some pretty wild and entertaining battles. And as you progress, you can upgrade your abilities and unlock new moves, keeping the combat fresh and exciting. But what really sets the Yakuza series apart is the sheer amount of stuff you can do outside of the main story. The cities you explore, like Kamurocho, are packed with activities. You can play arcade games, go bowling, sing karaoke, participate in dance battles, and even manage a cabaret club. These side activities are so well crafted that they could be games on their own. The side stories or sub-stories are another highlight. These are little side missions that range from the hilarious to the heartfelt. They often introduce quirky characters and situations that add a lot of flavor to the world. You might help a dominatrix improve her skills or chase down a stolen pair of underwear. It's this blend of serious main plot and wacky side content that gives the Yakuza series its unique charm. The series also offers mini-games that are incredibly detailed. For example, you can spend hours playing mahjong, shogi, or even running a real estate business. These mini-games add depth and variety, ensuring there's always something new to discover. Each game in the series is rich with content. Whether you're playing the older titles like Yakuza 0 or the latest installment, there's always a ton of stuff to keep you occupied. And with the interconnected stories, you'll find yourself deeply invested in the world and its characters. The Yakuza series is a fantastic blend of intense action, compelling storytelling, and an abundance of side activities. If you're looking for a series that can easily soak up 100 plus hours of your time, this is it. Each game offers a unique and unforgettable experience, making it a must-play for any serious gamer. So dive into the world of Yakuza and get ready for an adventure that's both epic and entertaining.
秋山って男を知らねえか。スカイファイナンスって町金をやってた。
My name is Zoe Walker. Not so long ago, I wanted to be a
As Dusk Falls. This game is like diving into a very interesting visual novel-style interactive drama where every choice you make can change the course of the story. It's one of those games that really pulls you in with its narrative and keeps you hooked from start to finish. First off, the story is absolutely amazing. You're following two families over the course of several decades, and their lives get intertwined in the most unexpected ways. It's filled with intense moments, big decisions, and lots of drama. The game does a fantastic job of making you care about the characters and their struggles. Each choice feels significant, and you're constantly wondering what might happen next. The art style is pretty unique too. It's got this cool graphic novel look with hand-painted visuals that make it feel like you're playing through a comic book. It's different from anything I've seen before and adds a lot of charm to the game. Gameplay-wise, as Dusk Falls is all about making choices and seeing how they affect the story. It's not about fast-paced action or complex puzzles, it's about the narrative and the decisions you make. There are moments where you have to react quickly, and others where you have to think about what's best for the characters. It's a game that really makes you feel involved in the story. One of the best parts is how the game handles multiple perspectives. You get to see the story from different characters' viewpoints, which adds a lot of depth and makes you understand their motivations better. It's a bit like watching a TV show where you're in control of what happens next. Now, here's the thing. When I first started this game, I was like, what the hell are these graphics? Like, the game was made in 1998 itself, by the way, the story takes place in 1998. But as I went, I personally actually really got into it. It's like a book in a sense that when there is no visual overload, your brain compensates and completes the picture and the action in your head. I found this style very unusual, but somehow I really loved it. Another thing that I loved about this story compared to similar Choices Matters games is that the choices are fair. There were no situations where I could blame the game for wording the choice in a misleading way. Overall, as Dusk Falls is a must-play for anyone who loves a good story-driven game, it's got an engaging plot, unique visuals, and choices that really matter. If you're looking for a game that's more about the narrative and less about action, you won't regret picking this one up. It's like experiencing an interactive drama where every decision counts.
Sorry to lock you up like this.
Pentiment. Alright, let's dive into Pentiment, a game that's a real treat for anyone who loves narrative-driven experiences and rich, historical settings. If you're into story-focused games with unique art styles, this one's a hidden gem. You play as Andreas Mahler, a journeyman artist in 16th century Bavaria. The game revolves around a series of mysterious events and murders in the small town of Tassing and the nearby Kiersau Abbey. It's up to you to uncover the truth behind these mysteries, making decisions that impact the community and its future. It's like reading a beautiful visual novel with a very linear story, which might be off-putting for some people. Pentiment starts up very promising, quite an interesting world and characters to interact, and it gets quite tense with the murder investigations. There's so many interesting clues and evidences to gather, making you feel like a Sherlock Holmes in 16th century accompanied by amazing art style and lots of historical and literary references. Pentiment is like the folklore game I've always wanted to play. It's the medieval-ish Renaissance game I've always wanted to play. It's the murder mystery game I've always wanted to play. It scratches so many aesthetic itches that it's hard to know where to begin the praise, but I think I'll start with the deep appreciation of folklore that this game embodies. The game is really well researched, cited, and able to be referenced immediately in an illustrated glossary, fun to interact with through an easy-to-use UI, and versatile in its artistic rendering. In fact, everything you learn about this game is backed up by research that is readily available. Pentiment wants players to know that reading is not only essential to their success in the game, but also, as emphasized by its diverse cast of characters in different classes, an incredible privilege to be able to accomplish at one's leisure. The characters are beautifully fleshed out, believable, and diverse in their representations of early modern classes in class warfare. I loved every single one of them and fostered connections with them more than I have compared to other games. The time you spend with people is imperative for not only peace of mind and communal relations, but also communication and cultural knowledge. It's great that something like this can represent that in a video game. Now, the game is essentially a medieval murder mystery, but it's much more than that. The narrative is deep and multi-layered, exploring themes of faith, power, and the passage of time. Your choices matter a lot, shaping the story in significant ways. It's all about the dialogue and the relationships you build with the townsfolk. The art style is one of a kind. The game looks like a living manuscript, with visuals inspired by illuminated manuscripts in early print. It's colorful, detailed, and utterly charming. This unique style sets the mood perfectly and pulls you into the world of 16th century Europe. Gameplay-wise, Pentiment is all about exploration and conversation. There's no combat or fast-paced action here, just a lot of intriguing dialogue and detective work. You'll spend your time talking to characters, gathering clues, and making decisions that drive the story forward. It's a game that rewards patience and attention to detail. The historical accuracy and attention to detail are impressive. The game does a fantastic job of bringing the period to life, from the social dynamics to the daily routines of the characters. It feels like stepping into a different time, and you can tell a lot of love and research went into creating this world. So if you're looking for an overlooked double A game that offers a unique narrative-rich experience, Pentiment is definitely worth checking out. It's a beautifully crafted game that immerses you in its historical setting and keeps you hooked with its compelling story and characters. Telltale's Jurassic Park. Alright, let's chat about Telltale's Jurassic Park, a game that takes you back to the thrilling and dangerous world of dinosaurs. If you're a fan of the Jurassic Park movies, this game is like stepping right into the action. The game is set during the events of the first Jurassic Park movie, but it tells a new story with different characters. You follow a group of people who are trying to survive on the island after the dinosaurs escape. There's a mix of scientists, mercenaries, and even a young girl, each with their own reasons for being there. What's really cool about Telltale's Jurassic Park is how it focuses on the story. It's like an interactive movie where your choices affect what happens next. You'll be making decisions that can change the outcome of the story, so you've got to think carefully about what you do. It makes you feel like you're part of the adventure, and every choice adds to the tension. The gameplay is mostly about exploring and solving puzzles. You'll be looking for clues, figuring out how to get past obstacles, and dealing with the dinosaurs. There are also quick time events where you have to press buttons at the right time to escape danger or complete an action. It keeps you on your toes and adds to the excitement. Now, honestly, I've never heard anyone talking about this game, and my opinion is that shouldn't be looked as a game with lots of action, but more like an interactive movie. It's more about the story and the decisions you make. If you're looking for a fast-paced shooter, this isn't it. But if you love a good story and enjoy making choices that impact the game, then you'll have a great time.
That's great. Thanks a lot. Very helpful.
Telltale's Jurassic Park is a forgotten gem that's worth playing, especially if you're a fan of the movies. It brings the excitement and danger of Jurassic Park to life in a new and interactive way. So if you're ready for a thrilling adventure filled with dinosaurs and tough choices, give this game a try. You won't be disappointed.
Ah, a sewer.
How quaint.
But I will show you what lies behind my eyes.
Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. If you're into breathtaking visuals and intense storytelling, Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga should be on your radar. This game is a follow-up to the critically acclaimed Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, and it takes things up a notch with even more stunning graphics and immersive experience. The story continues the journey of Senua, a warrior struggling with mental illness and facing dark, mythical forces. Set in a world inspired by Norse mythology, the game's narrative dives deep into Senua's psyche as she battles both external foes and her inner demons. The visuals in Hellblade 2 are absolutely jaw-dropping. The game uses cutting-edge technology to bring its dark fantasy world to life. From the intricately detailed character models to the expansive, atmospheric environments, every aspect of the game's graphics is crafted to pull you into its hauntingly beautiful world. The gameplay focuses on intense, visceral combat and puzzle solving. You'll face off against fearsome enemies, solve environmental puzzles, and experience a story that's as emotionally gripping as it is visually impressive. The game's use of motion capture and voice acting is top-notch, making Senua's struggles and triumphs feel incredibly real.
Don't let them capture you again. Are you going to let her kill you? Oh, this guy will die now.
One of the standout features is the sound design. The game uses binaural audio to create a rich, immersive soundscape that enhances the feeling of being inside Senua's world. It's like you're right there with her, hearing and feeling everything she does. Overall, Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga is a visual masterpiece with a powerful story and immersive gameplay. If you're looking for a high graphics game that pushes the boundaries of storytelling and visuals, this one's definitely worth playing.
In town, getting ready to leave. I need... Hugo.
A Plague Tale Requiem. Plague Tale Requiem is a game that'll grab your attention with its incredible graphics and gripping story. It's a sequel to A Plague Tale: Innocence and takes you on another dark, emotional journey through a plague-ridden world. The game continues the story of Amisha and her younger brother Hugo as they navigate a world devastated by disease and war. This time they're seeking a way to lift the curse that plagues Hugo while dealing with even more dangerous enemies and threats.
Hey. I had a nightmare. I know.
Gameplay-wise, you'll experience a mix of stealth, exploration, and puzzle solving. You have to be smart about how you approach each situation. Whether you're sneaking past enemies or using the environment to your advantage, the game keeps you on your toes. The combat is tense and strategic, making every encounter feel impactful.
God damn you!
The story is deeply emotional and driven by the characters' struggles. The relationship between Amisha and Hugo is central to the plot, and their journey is filled with moments of hope and despair. The game does a fantastic job of making you care about their fate and the world they're fighting to survive in. Overall, A Plague Tale Requiem is a visually stunning and emotionally powerful game. If you're looking for a high graphics experience with a deep, moving story, this game is definitely worth checking out. Metro Exodus. If you're into atmospheric, post-apocalyptic adventures, Metro Exodus is a game you won't want to miss. Set in a world devastated by nuclear war, this game continues the story of the Metro series but takes things to a whole new level with expansive environments and stunning visuals. You play as Artyom, a survivor who leaves the underground metro system in search of a new life in the outside world. The game takes you on a journey across the Russian landscape, from desolate wastelands to lush, overgrown areas. The goal is to find a safe haven where humanity can start rebuilding.
I surrender!
Visually, Metro Exodus is breathtaking. The game's graphics are top-notch with highly detailed environments that create an immersive, post-apocalyptic atmosphere. You'll see everything from crumbling buildings to vibrant natural landscapes, all rendered with impressive realism. Gameplay combines first-person shooting with survival elements. You'll need to manage your resources, craft weapons and gear, and make tactical decisions in combat. The game also has a strong focus on exploration and storytelling. Each area is packed with secrets, side quests, and environmental storytelling that help you piece together the world's backstory. The story is engaging with a mix of personal and broader narrative elements. Artyom's journey is filled with encounters with other survivors, each with their own stories and motivations. The choices you make impact how the story unfolds, adding replay value to the game. One thing to keep in mind is that the game's pacing can be a bit slow, especially if you're not into the exploration and survival aspects. Some players might find the focus on scavenging and resource management to be a bit tedious at times. Overall, Metro Exodus offers a rich, immersive experience with its stunning graphics, detailed world, and engaging gameplay. If you enjoyed post-apocalyptic settings and deep, narrative-driven games, this one is definitely worth your time. Horizon Forbidden West. Alright, let's dive into Horizon Forbidden West. If you love the first game, this sequel is going to blow you away. Set in a stunning post-apocalyptic world where robotic creatures roam the land, this game takes everything you enjoyed and cranks it up a notch. You're back as Aloy, the fierce and determined hunter, this time venturing into uncharted territories known as the Forbidden West. The stakes are high as you're on a mission to save your world from a mysterious and powerful threat. The story weaves together Aloy's personal journey with epic discoveries about the world and its ancient past. Visually, this game is a feast for the eyes. The environments are incredibly detailed, from lush, overgrown forests and breathtaking deserts to underwater vistas and crumbling ruins. Every corner of the world feels alive and vibrant, pulling you into its beauty and danger. Exploration is a key part of the game, and it's super satisfying. You'll be climbing mountains, diving into underwater caverns, and navigating dense foliage. The world is packed with secrets, side quests, and collectibles that make every journey feel rewarding. If you're into open world adventures with gorgeous visuals, deep lore, and thrilling combat, Horizon Forbidden West is a must-play. It builds on everything that made the first game great and adds even more to love. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Alright, let's dive into Jedi Survivor, a game that's perfect if you're tired of massive open worlds and want something more focused and action-packed. In Jedi Survivor, you play as Cal Kestis, one of the last Jedi who's on the run from the Empire. The story picks up after the events of Jedi Fallen Order. It's got a mix of intense lightsaber combat, exploration, and a gripping narrative that keeps you hooked. What really stands out in Jedi Survivor is the combat. It's all about lightsaber battles and using the Force. The combat feels tight and satisfying, whether you're blocking blaster shots or taking down stormtroopers. Plus, you can upgrade your skills, which makes the fights even more exciting. Visually, the game is stunning. The environments are detailed and varied, from lush forests to ancient ruins. The graphics really pull you into the Star Wars universe, making everything feel epic and grand. One thing I loved about Jedi Survivor is how it balances action with exploration. You get to climb, jump, and use the Force to solve puzzles. It's not just about fighting, it's also about discovering secrets and finding your way through challenging terrain. The story is engaging, with well-developed characters and plenty of twists. You really feel for Cal as he struggles to survive and fight back against the Empire. The voice acting is top-notch, adding depth to the characters and making the story even more immersive.
What took you so long?
Oh, you know, just hanging out, taking in the sights. Been a while since I was on Coruscant.
If you're looking for a game that offers a mix of intense action and intriguing exploration, Jedi Survivor is a fantastic choice. It's a focused, story-driven experience that pulls you into the Star Wars universe and keeps you entertained from start to finish. Grab your lightsaber and get ready for an adventure you won't forget. Until Dawn. Alright, let's talk about Until Dawn, a game that's perfect for a thrilling, story-driven experience, especially if you're tired of massive open worlds.
Beauties is not the word that comes to mind. Why is this even here?
What do you mean?
In Until Dawn, you control a group of friends who've gone to a remote mountain lodge for a getaway. Things quickly turn dark and creepy when they realize they're not alone. The story unfolds over one terrifying night, filled with suspense, horror, and plenty of surprises.
Down, okay? Just, we need to find out more.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
What do they mean?
What's awesome about Until Dawn is that it's like playing through a horror movie. The game is all about making choices that affect the story and the fate of the characters. Every decision you make can lead to different outcomes, so you need to think carefully. It's super engaging because you're always on edge, wondering if you made the right call.
B
The library. Maybe there's something in the library?
R-O-O
Proof. There's proof.
in the library.
One of the things I loved about Until Dawn is the cast. The characters are brought to life by some great acting, and you'll recognize a few familiar faces. The interactions between the characters feel real, and you get to know their personalities as the story progresses. It makes the stakes feel even higher because you actually care about what happens to them.
Yeah, all right. Wanna go do that?
Any place without that whore.
The gameplay is mostly about exploration and making decisions, but there are also quick time events and puzzles that keep things interesting. The way the game switches between different characters and perspectives adds to the tension and keeps you guessing.
Nice one.
It's a game that's fun to play alone or with others, as you can discuss and debate the choices you make. It's perfect for a spooky game night.
Actually pretty simple.
Until Dawn is a great game to play if you're looking for a shorter, intense experience. It's about 8 to 10 hours long, which is perfect for a weekend or a few evenings. The replay value is high too because you'll want to go back and see how different choices affect the story. If you're looking for a game that offers a gripping, horror-filled adventure with plenty of twists and turns, Until Dawn is a must-play. It's a refreshing break from open-world games, providing a focused and thrilling experience that keeps you hooked from start to finish. Turn off the lights, get comfortable, and prepare for a terrifyingly good time. Final Fantasy XV.
The decreed hour is come. Set forth with my blessing, Prince Noctis.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Take your leave and go in the grace of the gods.
Right.
You've probably heard Barney Stinson's phrase, "Nothing you do in life is legendary unless your best friends are there to see it." Well, Final Fantasy XV captures that feeling perfectly. Every experience we live with Noctis' friends in the Kingdom of Lucis has its own particular realism, which further enhances the sense of intimacy and camaraderie we feel with them. The quiet gatherings around a campfire, where the flames emerge from the wood and release tiny particles into the air, are a prime example. The protagonist's magnificent hair would deserve an entire article of its own. Watching them eat or play together forms a small-scale representation of the realism in this installment, but if what you're after is enjoying everything on a grand scale, just look at how beautiful Alticia looks. Fantasy XVI.
Knowing that you have but delayed the inevitable. Your world is already dead. May you enjoy an eternity on its blackened husk.
Final Fantasy XVI is another example that proves that outstanding art direction can make a game that might not be the best graphically become a leader thanks to this proper oversight. It sounds paradoxical at first, yes, but once you're immersed in the adventure, you'll be frozen in awe at the visual spectacle. Without belittling the rest of Final Fantasy, this installment is the most spectacular in the most literal sense of the word. The entire narrative is focused precisely on giving you a show you won't forget. The movements, attacks, and reactions of each icon possess extraordinary detail. Pay close attention to how Ifrit strikes, how Garuda's feathers move with accurate realism, and how the actions of both directly impact the environment they fight in. And stepping away from the grandiose battles, you'll also find scenes and character models with excellent work behind them that don't clash with the exaggerated tone of this game in the best sense of the word. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Huh? Look!
Oh, the eyes of one who has bathed
The reimagining of Final Fantasy VII has given us one of the most beautiful video games you'll find in recent years, both in its remake and its sequel, Rebirth. Cloud's story enjoys photorealism worthy of praise. Yes, I know it might seem odd to combine ultra-fantastical monsters with a very traditional and grounded realism like the Seventh Heaven, but does it really matter? Every model, no matter how unbelievable it may seem, is detailed to an almost obsessive level. Look at Cloud's eyes, how the lighting creates unforgettable scenes, or how the fire and its particles behave with hyper-realistic accuracy. I could go on like this all day, but whether inside or outside of Midgar, Final Fantasy VII has graphics that make us tip our hats, like a dragon, infinite wealth. Those of you who've enjoyed the adventure of like a Dragon Infinite Wealth will understand immediately why I've included this game on this list. I could also mention the Judgment series, from which you'll get a clear idea. The Yakuza games are beautiful and represent Japan with great realism, making you want to hop on a plane and travel there. However, with Infinite Wealth, something different happens. It makes us want to go to Hawaii as well. The representation of the Pacific Island is as realistic as the districts you can explore in previous Yakuza games. This makes the blocks, buildings, market stalls, and various landscapes like waterfalls or beaches end up being breathtaking. Without a doubt, this is a game for dreaming while awake, especially if you can't afford a summer trip to Hawaii. The Last of Us Part 1. One of the first things that struck me about The Last of Us is how beautifully crafted the world is. Despite the bleak setting, there's a haunting beauty to the environments. Overgrown cities, abandoned homes, and nature reclaiming the world are rendered with incredible detail. The game's art direction and environmental storytelling are top-notch, making every location feel unique and telling its own story of the world that once was. The gameplay in The Last of Us balances tense combat, stealth, and exploration. The encounters with infected and human enemies are intense and require strategic thinking. The limited resources and brutal combat mechanics emphasize the harshness of the world, making every encounter feel meaningful. Stealth is often the best approach, and the game's level design supports multiple playstyles, allowing you to tackle situations in various ways. The storytelling in The Last of Us is where the game truly shines. The narrative is gripping from start to finish, filled with emotional highs and lows.
Can't be for nothing.
The relationship between Joel and Ellie is at the heart of the story, and watching it develop is both touching and profound. The game doesn't shy away from dark themes and tough moral choices, making you question what you would do in their situation. The writing is sharp, and the dialogue feels natural, adding to the overall immersion. The game's sound design and music also deserve special mention. The sound effects are realistic and enhance the tension, especially during stealth sequences. The soundtrack, composed by Gustavo Santaolalla, is hauntingly beautiful and perfectly complements the game's emotional tone. The music adds another layer to the storytelling, making key moments even more impactful. While The Last of Us Part 1 is nearly flawless, it's worth noting that the game is very linear. This isn't a sandbox experience, but rather a tightly controlled narrative journey. For me, this works perfectly, as it allows the story to remain focused and impactful, but it's something to keep in mind if you prefer more open-ended games. In conclusion, The Last of Us Part 1 is a must-play for anyone who values storytelling in games. Its combination of a compelling narrative, rich character development, stunning visuals, and intense gameplay creates an unforgettable experience. Joel and Ellie's journey through a ravaged world is one of the most powerful stories in gaming, and it's an experience that should not be missed. If you're looking for a game that will move you, challenge you, and stay with you long after you've finished, The Last of Us Part 1 is the perfect choice. Mafia Definitive Edition. Let's talk about Mafia Definitive Edition, the 2020 remake of the classic 2002 game. This remake isn't just a visual upgrade, it's a complete reimagining that brings the story and characters to life in stunning detail. If you're a fan of gripping narratives and period pieces, this game is a must-play. You play as Tommy Angelo, a taxi driver who gets swept into the world of organized crime in the 1930s. The story follows Tommy's rise through the ranks of the Salieri crime family, and it's a tale filled with drama, betrayal, and intense moments. What I love about Mafia Definitive Edition is how it captures the essence of the original game while adding new layers of depth and nuance to the story and characters. The visuals in this remake are absolutely stunning. Lost Heaven, the fictional city based on Chicago, is beautifully recreated with meticulous attention to detail. The period-specific architecture, vintage cars, and atmospheric lighting make the city feel alive and authentic. Driving through the rain-soaked streets at night or watching the sunset over the city skyline are moments that really showcase the game's graphical prowess. The performances are top-notch, adding emotional weight to the story. You really get a sense of the characters' personalities and motivations, which makes the narrative even more engaging. Gameplay-wise, Mafia Definitive Edition strikes a good balance between action and storytelling. The combat is satisfying, with a mix of gunfights and melee combat that feels intense and impactful. The driving mechanics have also been improved, making the vintage cars a joy to drive. The game's missions are varied and well-designed, keeping you engaged throughout the story. One of the standout features for me is the game's commitment to its 1930s setting. The period-specific details from the radio broadcasts and music to the fashion and dialogue immerse you in the era. It's clear that a lot of care and attention went into making the world of Mafia Definitive Edition feel authentic and lived in. However, the game does have its limitations. The open world of Lost Heaven, while beautifully crafted, isn't as interactive as you might expect from a modern open world game. There's not a lot to do outside of the main story missions, which can make the city feel a bit empty at times. But for me, this isn't a deal breaker, as the focus is clearly on delivering a compelling narrative experience. In conclusion, Mafia Definitive Edition is a fantastic remake that revitalizes a classic story with stunning visuals and modern gameplay mechanics. If you're a fan of story-driven games and appreciate a well-crafted period piece, this game is definitely worth your time. It's an immersive cinematic experience that will keep you hooked from start to finish. Tommy Angelo's journey through the criminal underworld of Lost Heaven is one you won't want to miss. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Alright, if we're talking about the best story games, we absolutely have to mention The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This game is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to storytelling, and it's one that I could talk about for hours. You play as Geralt of Rivia, a grizzled monster hunter navigating a war-torn world in search of his adopted daughter, Ciri. The story is incredibly rich and layered, filled with complex characters, political intrigue, and moral ambiguity. What really stands out to me is how well the game handles its main storyline alongside the countless side quests. Each quest feels meaningful and adds depth to the world and its inhabitants. The writing in The Witcher 3 is some of the best you'll find in any game. The dialogue is sharp and natural, and the choices you make have real weight, affecting the story and the world around you. I love how the game doesn't shy away from tough, morally gray decisions. There are rarely any clear-cut good or bad choices, which makes every decision feel significant and impactful. The characters are another highlight. Geralt, with his dry wit and gruff exterior, is a compelling protagonist. But it's not just Geralt. The entire cast of characters, from the sorceress Yennefer to the lovable bard Dandelion, are well developed and memorable. Their personal stories and relationships with Geralt add so much to the overall narrative. Visually, the game is stunning. The world of The Witcher 3 is incredibly detailed and varied, from the bustling cities and war-torn villages to the dense forests and snowy mountains. The game's use of color and lighting is fantastic, creating an atmosphere that's both immersive and beautiful. Riding through a stormy night or watching the sunset over a lake are moments that really stick with you. The gameplay is equally impressive. Combat is fluid and satisfying with a mix of swordplay, magic, and alchemy. The monster hunts are particularly exciting, requiring you to research and prepare for each unique foe. The open world is packed with things to do, from exploring hidden treasures and crafting powerful gear to playing Gwent, the surprisingly addictive in-game card game. One of the most memorable aspects for me is how the game handles its lore. The world of The Witcher is steeped in rich history and mythology, and the game does an excellent job of weaving this lore into the story and the environment. It makes the world feel alive and believable. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is an epic adventure that raises the bar for storytelling in games. Its blend of deep, engaging narrative, complex characters, and a richly detailed world makes it a standout title. If you're looking for a game with a story that will keep you hooked from start to finish, this one is a must-play. Geralt's journey is one you won't soon forget. Disco Elysium. Alright, let's dive into the world of Disco Elysium, a game that has redefined what storytelling in video games can be. If you haven't played this gem yet, you're in for a treat. I have to say, Disco Elysium blew me away with its depth and creativity. You play as a down-and-out detective with a serious case of amnesia, trying to solve a murder mystery in the grungy, fictional city of Revakul. What makes this game truly stand out is its dialogue and character interactions. The writing is sharp, witty, and often darkly humorous. Every conversation feels meaningful and can lead you down various narrative paths depending on your choices. The game doesn't just hand you the story, it lets you discover it through exploration and dialogue, which makes it incredibly immersive. One of the coolest things about Disco Elysium is how it handles skills and abilities. Instead of just being stats that affect combat or simple tasks, your skills are like voices in your head, each with its own personality and opinion. This adds layers to your character and makes every decision feel significant. Your choices can lead to different outcomes, and the game has multiple endings based on how you play. It really feels like you're shaping the story with every decision you make. The art style is another highlight. It's this beautiful, painterly aesthetic that perfectly captures the bleak, melancholic atmosphere of the game. Combined with an evocative soundtrack, it creates an experience that's as much about the mood as it is about the narrative. But I won't lie, Disco Elysium isn't for everyone. It's very text-heavy, so if you're not into reading lots of dialogue, it might not be your cup of tea. However, if you love deep, narrative-driven games with rich, complex characters and a story that sticks with you long after you've finished, this game is a must-play. I can't recommend Disco Elysium enough if you're looking for a game that offers a truly unique storytelling experience. It's a masterpiece in narrative design and one of the best story games I've ever played. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Your lip? Shut up. Got some kind of rock in your boot?
Alright, let's talk about Red Dead Redemption 2, a game that absolutely floored me with its storytelling and depth. If you're into immersive narratives and rich character development, this one's a must-play. In Red Dead Redemption 2, you step into the boots of Arthur Morgan, an outlaw in the dying days of the Wild West. The story is gripping from start to finish, weaving a tale of loyalty, betrayal, and redemption. What I love about this game is how it makes you care about Arthur and the members of the Van der Lindang. Each character feels real with their own backstories, personalities, and motivations. The world of Red Dead Redemption 2 is incredibly detailed and alive. From the bustling towns to the vast, open wilderness, every corner of this game is meticulously crafted. The dynamic weather and day-night cycle add to the immersion, making you feel like you're truly living in this world. It's the kind of game where you can get lost just exploring and taking in the scenery. The writing and voice acting are top-notch. The dialogue feels natural and the characters are brought to life by outstanding performances. Arthur's journey is filled with emotional highs and lows, and the game doesn't shy away from tough, morally complex situations. It really makes you think about the choices you make and their consequences. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of those rare games where everything just comes together perfectly. The story, characters, world building, and gameplay all combine to create an unforgettable experience. If you're looking for a game with a compelling narrative and a world that feels truly alive, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game you can't miss. Trust me, it's an epic tale that will stay with you long after the credits roll. Alright, let's dive into the Quarry. This game is a thrilling, interactive horror story that keeps you on the edge of your seat. You play as a group of teenagers who are spending their last night at summer camp. But things quickly go from fun to terrifying. The game starts with everyone excited for their last night together, but as the sun goes down, strange and creepy things start happening. You have to make choices for the characters, and these choices will decide who lives and who doesn't.
Nick! Oh my god!
It's like being in a scary movie where you control what happens next. The characters in the Quarry are really interesting. Each one has their own personality and backstory. As you play, you get to know them better and understand their fears and motivations. This makes the story more engaging because you care about what happens to them. One of the best parts of the game is the suspense. You never know what's going to happen next. There are moments when you have to make quick decisions, and these moments are very intense. The wrong choice can lead to a character getting hurt or worse. The game also looks amazing, the graphics are very detailed, and the setting of the camp at night is really creepy. The sound effects and music add to the scary atmosphere, making you feel like you're really there with the characters. The Quarry is a game that combines storytelling with horror in a very effective way. It's all about making choices and dealing with the consequences. If you enjoy scary stories where you get to decide what happens, you'll love The Quarry. It's like being in your own horror movie, trying to keep everyone safe while uncovering the mysteries of the night. Life is Strange.
I just wanted to see what would happen if I did this.
I'm gonna kill you.
This game is all about choices and feelings. You play as Max, a girl who can rewind time. It's like a magic power she gets one day. The story is set in a small town called Arcadia Bay. Max comes back to her hometown after many years to go to school. There, she meets her old friend Chloe. Chloe is very different now and she needs Max's help. The story is about their friendship and a big mystery they need to solve. The cool thing about Life is Strange is the choices you make. Every choice changes the story. You can go back and change your decisions if you don't like what happens. This makes the game very interesting because you see how different choices make different outcomes. By the end of the game, the story gets very intense and emotional. There are many ups and downs, and you get really attached to the characters. The game also talks about serious topics like bullying, family problems, and growing up. It makes you think about real-life issues. The ending is very powerful and can make you feel a lot of emotions. Life is Strange is a great story game because it makes you care about the characters and their journey. It's easy to play and understand, and the timed rewind power is a fun twist. If you like stories where your choices matter and change the outcome, you'll love this game. It's like watching a good movie where you get to decide what happens next. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is a standout title from Sucker Punch, known for games like Sly Cooper and Infamous. This game, set in feudal Japan, allows you to play as a samurai or stealthy ghost. It's a beautiful send-off for the PS4 generation and has since been released on PC. Initially, I was skeptical about Ghost of Tsushima. It looked good, but seemed too familiar, almost like a Ubisoft game. However, it turned out to be much more. The unique setting and the guiding wind system, which replaces traditional waypoints, allow you to immerse yourself fully in the world without constantly staring at a map. One of the key strengths of Ghost of Tsushima is its lack of repetitive tasks. Each open world objective feels distinct, pushing you to use different skills and strategies. Whether it's stealth, samurai combat, or even composing haikus, every activity feels fresh and meaningful. The combat system is another highlight. It uses a stance-based system where you switch between different stances to counter various enemies. This adds depth and variety to the battles, making each encounter exciting and strategic. While the camera can be a bit tricky at times, the overall combat experience is top-notch. Ghost of Tsushima stands out for its beauty, mechanics, and ability to deeply immerse you in its world. If you haven't played it yet, it's definitely worth your time in 2024. This game offers an experience that feels both fresh and profoundly engaging.
All units report. Opening fire.
Cyberpunk 2077. Next on our list is Cyberpunk 2077. This game will draw you in with its massive open world and endless possibilities. In Cyberpunk, you play as V, a mercenary in the futuristic city of Night City. The city is huge and full of life, with neon lights, bustling streets, and a dark underworld. You can customize your character and make choices that affect the story and the world around you. The main story is gripping, filled with twists, action, and memorable characters. It keeps you hooked, making you want to see what happens next. But it's not just the main story that's addictive. Night City is packed with side missions, gigs, and activities. Each district has its own vibe and secrets to uncover. You'll find yourself spending hours exploring the city, finding new quests, and getting lost in the detailed world. The combat and gameplay are also a big part of what makes Cyberpunk 2077 so addictive. You can choose from a wide range of weapons and cybernetic enhancements to suit your playstyle. Whether you prefer stealth, hacking, or all-out combat, the game lets you play the way you want. The variety of options keeps the gameplay fresh and exciting. The world building in Cyberpunk is also top-notch. The city feels alive with dynamic weather, day-night cycles, and NPCs going about their daily lives. The attention to detail is incredible, making Night City a place you'll want to keep exploring. Cyberpunk also has a deep customization system. You can change your appearance, upgrade your skills, and modify your weapons and gear. This allows you to create a unique character that fits your playstyle and makes the game feel personal. If you love open-world games with rich stories, deep customization, and endless exploration, Cyberpunk 2077 is a game you'll lose track of time playing. Dive into Night City and experience the future for yourself. It's a wild ride you won't want to end.
Some of them call me
Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Alright, let's talk about Enslaved Odyssey to the West, a game that beautifully blends action, storytelling, and a post-apocalyptic setting. Developed by Ninja Theory and released in 2010, this game takes you on an epic journey inspired by the ancient Chinese novel Journey to the West. You play as Monkey, a strong and agile warrior who's teamed up with Tripp, a tech-savvy young woman, as they navigate a dangerous world filled with hostile robots and crumbling ruins. One of the first things that strikes you about Enslaved is its stunning visuals. The game's world is a vibrant, overgrown dystopia where nature has reclaimed the remnants of human civilization. It's both beautiful and haunting, with detailed environments that draw you into the story. The character design is equally impressive, with motion capture performances that bring Monkey and Tripp to life in a way that feels real and emotionally engaging. The gameplay is a mix of platforming, combat, and puzzle solving. Monkey's agility allows you to climb and swing through the environment with ease, while his combat skills let you take on groups of enemies with fluid and satisfying moves. Tripp, on the other hand, provides tech support, hacking into systems, and offering strategic advice. The dynamic between the two characters adds depth to the gameplay, as you need to rely on each other to survive.
Are you okay?
The story is another standout aspect of Enslaved. It's a character-driven narrative that explores themes of freedom, trust, and survival. The relationship between Monkey and Tripp evolves throughout the game, with excellent voice acting and writing that make their journey compelling.
Someone, like I feel it breathing! Come on! It's right there, it's coming! Come on!
Despite its strengths, Enslaved Odyssey to the West didn't achieve the commercial success it deserved. Released during a crowded fall season, it was overshadowed by other major titles. Additionally, its unique blend of gameplay and storytelling may not have immediately appealed to a broad audience. For me, Enslaved is one of those hidden gems that truly deserves more recognition. It's a game that combines beautiful visuals, engaging gameplay, and a heartfelt story in a way that few games manage to do. If you're looking for an adventure that's both thrilling and emotionally resonant, give Enslaved Odyssey to the West a try. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End.
Here we go.
Uncharted 4 is an exemplary tale of adventure, brotherhood, and the pursuit of treasure that brilliantly wraps up Nathan Drake's story. If you're a fan of high-stakes action and rich narratives, this game is an absolute must-play. The story begins with Nathan Drake, now retired from his treasure hunting days, living a quiet life with his wife, Elena. However, his past catches up to him when his long-lost brother, Sam, reappears with a tantalizing proposition: the hunt for the lost pirate colony of Libertalia and its legendary treasure. This setup pulls Nathan back into a world he thought he had left behind. One of the core strengths of Uncharted 4's narrative is its focus on character development and relationships. The dynamic between Nathan and Sam is central to the story. Their bond, filled with shared history and tension, drives much of the game's emotional depth. You see their relationship evolve as they embark on their perilous quest, revealing layers of loyalty, guilt, and sacrifice. The game does an excellent job of weaving in Nathan's internal conflict. He's torn between his adventurous past and his desire for a stable future with Elena. This tension adds a layer of complexity to his character and makes his journey all the more compelling. The narrative explores themes of identity and legacy, questioning whether Nathan can truly leave behind the life of a thief and what it means to chase dreams at the cost of personal relationships. The story is paced beautifully, with a perfect balance of high-octane action sequences and quieter, character-driven moments. The flashbacks to Nathan and Sam's childhood are particularly effective, providing context and depth to their bond and motivations. These glimpses into their past make their current struggles and ambitions more relatable and poignant. The culmination of the story in Libertalia is nothing short of spectacular. The mythical pirate haven is brought to life with stunning detail, and the final act is a thrilling blend of action and emotional resolution. If you're looking for a game with a gripping story and well-developed characters, Uncharted 4 is an unforgettable experience that delivers on all fronts. Nathan Drake's final adventure is one that you won't want to miss.